All right, guys. Hey, welcome to In This Corner of Weighing In with Travis Hartman. We have a familiar face if you follow our podcast, which if you don't, you better. Like, why don't you?
What's going on?
Right? Like, come on. What's going on? This is Gio's third time on here. Gio, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you for
You
having
have
me.
a very important fight coming up this Friday, December 8th at the Crib Royale. It's called the KO for Drugs. But before we even get into that, I just want to back up a little bit. And you've been training with a pretty high-level guy in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I mean, can you talk about that a little bit? Who have you been training with over there?
So I was training down in Miami with Xander Zayas and another champion too, Abbas Baru. So there was two champions that I was training with, and they were giving me tremendous work.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking Xander Zayas.
Yeah.
Like, he's the next, like, real big Puerto Rican that's going to be, like, it's coming up in the 154-pound division, right? So what did you take away from that camp for this coming up fight? I mean, you're training with some, like, legit guys now, right? But also, let's be fair, though, too. You're legit as well.
So it felt it's what I do every day. The training part is what I do every day, but training at such a high level with such high competitive people that everybody's pushing you. People are working out together, and like me, normally I push myself, and you can't be on the bag without you hearing Xander like, yo, step up your shit. Let's go. And I think about it, and when I'm hearing it, I'm like, he wants me to step up my shit so I can give him better work the next day when we spar. So, like, it was good. It was training like a brotherhood with him, and we were running on certain days, sparring in the afternoons, sparring in the mornings, and doing massages in the afternoon. So it was a very nice camp. I was there for around 4 or 5 weeks.
So you got some really good work.
Very good work.
For any of the listeners, if you hear some background noise, we're actually recording this at Wings Aviation. It is a private airline that they opened the doors to us, and I was like, this is cool. Like, we watched somebody fly in the private jet. I just kind of wanted to let Gio know that maybe this is in his near future to get to see this stuff. And, you know, we're talking about planes are just like right over there, just right over head over here.
Get out of a plane and go into a Rolls Royce. That's what this guy just did. That's crazy.
And that's some of the noises you hear. That's what it is. But, like, I like this. I like the background noise. It's almost like a gym. It's never just quiet. You like all that noise going on. Like, I don't know what to do when it's perfectly quiet.
Nah, it's more chaotic when it's quiet.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, then your mind's running a bunch of different places. But so you trained with Xander Zayas. Pretty cool. They always say that if you're the best one in a gym, then you're in the wrong gym.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that push is amazing.
Like that saying that you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Yeah, I like learning. So I was going over there and trying to pick up on anything I could. I was trying to be a sponge in a room. So whether we were doing shadow boxing, bag work, or sparring, I was picking up on the most that I could pick up off of. And I would try to apply that every sparring that we would go to.
Absolutely. And I think it's a testament to you and your team. It's a testament to why you're 13-0. As a professional boxer right now. I mean, I think that you guys are doing the right things, the right steps. You're coming off of a big win, a knockout win on DAZN in front of Matchroom Boxing's head guy, Eddie Hearn, which was here at Crib Royale. I've said this on the first couple of podcasts, but I just want to say it again. How cool is it that you get to do all of this at home in front of your family and friends? Like that, and I know you know it because you said it all the time. You're super humble in that regard. How amazing is that you get to do that right here in Orlando, Florida?
Yeah, it's very cool, obviously, but it's such a blessing. And I had people ask me in the beginning when I was 7-0, when I only had 6-7 fights here in Orlando. Oh, when are you gonna move out to a different place? When are you gonna move out? I would love to fight in different places, but if things are going so well at home, the zone is coming over here, Matchroom's coming over here. If boxing is coming to Orlando and I'm being part of it, I would love to stay here. If I get the chance to go at a different show, a bigger show, around in New York or in Texas or Vegas or something like that, I would love to take the trip if my team thinks that's the right move. But if the boxing world is coming to Orlando, I would love to stay a part of it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it's working. Like, why not?
It's getting bigger. It's not only working. Like, working, I would say, is just staying still. This is progressing. Like, the boxing scene in Orlando is going high compared to when we started.
100%. Me and B Money, who we do the podcast with, Weighing In with Travis Hartman, we talked about this a couple of years ago. I went to one show of Box Lab, and I got to talk to Eric and me and B Money. I was like, we said it on the podcast a couple of years ago. We were like, these guys are gonna put Orlando on the map.
I remember watching that.
I was like, listen, they were crazy, but I was like, they're gonna make Orlando, Florida, the new hub for boxing. And I'm not saying it's beating out Madison Square Garden, but I think it's coming freaking close. You got Amanda
It's
Serrano.
being the best Madison Square Garden it can in Orlando.
100%.
So-
And you got literally Amanda Serrano, who just fought there, right?
Yeah.
She did similar money numbers than she did at Madison Square Garden.
That's crazy.
With less people.
Way less
in
people.
attendance. We said it
crazy.
on the podcast as well. They did like 230,000 live gates. That's just the live gate. Here, they did like 238,000 in Madison Square Garden.
That's crazy.
You're talking about New York to Orlando. So Box Lab, like, it's pretty awesome that they're bringing this here. Amari and Eric are doing a phenomenal job.
Amazing job.
But let's be honest, though. They know that it's the fighters also. It's
For sure.
because of you guys. And I think that's what I love about it is they're putting the fighters first, and they're putting the fighters in positions to succeed. They're putting you guys in that position, and then now it's on you to go do what you do. And you've been doing it. So congrats again on all of that. I think it's amazing that you're getting in these camps with these world-level guys because you do deserve that. You are a world-level guy. You had a very big amateur career. You're having a very big professional career, and you're building your record the right way. So now we can go to this Friday. I know that, dude, first of all, we appreciate you taking the time. This is on a Sunday. He's fighting on Friday, and Jeovanny took time out of his day to come out here and record this with us. So appreciate that, first of all. But this camp specifically, other than what you've been training with Xander Zayas, obviously, pretty awesome. But here in Orlando now, because you're based back in Orlando now training, what have you been focusing on for the most part, specifically for this fight on Friday?
So we've been focusing, we like to spread our focus so we don't focus on just one thing, but obviously one of the things we have that's in our favor is our movement. Our movement, the tallness. So we're high, we're tall, we move well, and we can switch righty or lefty. So this last fight, I didn't get the chance to show you guys the lefty, but I've been practicing more on my
because you knocked him out in the first round,
it was
bro.
quick.
You didn't give me a chance to even see the fight. I blinked and I missed it. Actually, I got locked out, but whatever. We'll talk about that later.
I was talking to Xander, actually, because we were in the ice bath and we just started telling stories, right? And we started talking about the guy. And one of the things that the guy told me was like, damn, I promised a war. He told me after, I promised a war and you didn't give me the chance to show these. Xander was like, no, we were perfect. I was going to let you get the chance. You was like, bro, I could fight him 10 times and I'll never let him get the chance.
Yeah.
So
They always say in boxing, too, they're like, this is what I love about boxers is we don't get paid for overtime.
Nah.
You know what I mean? We get paid the same whether it goes 6, 8, 10 rounds or 1. So you know what? If you can get in, get out. To me, I love efficiency.
A lot less strain, too, on your body, too. So
It is.
The fight before this one, that was the first one knockout. The fight before it was...
you fought an undefeated guy,
the
right?
8 rounds with the undefeated, with Chris Thompson. And obviously, we won that. We did great. We dropped him 3 times in the fight. It was a unanimous decision and a dominant win. I felt good. So that was a Saturday. I felt good Sunday. I felt good Monday. Tuesday, I woke up horrible. Like,
it was
back
delayed.
pains, everything. I was on Tylenol for like 2-3 days, and I was like, damn. And then this fight, on the DAZN fight, the first round knockout, I woke up Saturday good, woke up Sunday bad, Monday I was good. So it was like a lot less strain. I was like, I got to start taking people out because
there you go.
It's less from my body.
Hey, you know what? If you're planning on having a long professional career, I highly recommend stuff like that.
For sure.
I get it. You can't knock people out as soon as you want to, right? They come and they go for sure. But if you can, go for that kill, Gio.
For sure.
You hurt somebody, go for that kill. That's why there's a big boxer right now. Why I love this guy is Terrence Crawford. Been on the podcast. Terrence Crawford, when he hurts somebody, he finishes them.
Forward,
He is a finisher, and that's something he doesn't have that like big time Mike Tyson type knockout power, but he's got that precision power. But also when he hurts you, he follows it up. And I think that's what you did. You followed up that thing. So I hope that what we see on Friday is that you go out there and be smart. Right? Be smart. That's the first thing. You know how to box. You know how to move. You know how to control that distance. You have a great jab. But let that knockout come to you because when you do try to force it,
it comes to you.
Be careful, though. Don't force it.
You can find it yourself. So.
Exactly. So don't force it. Let it come to you because, I mean, that's when you start forcing it. Listen, you're 13-0. Let's keep on this solid track for sure.
That's actually the first thing that I say. The first and last thing I say to my dad after we talk to the ref, we dap up. If you look at that fight, on the DAZN, you'll see me go back to my corner, give my dad a hug, and I go, I'm gonna box clean. Everything behind the defense. So I'm not focused on offense. If the defense is good, all I gotta do is put my hands. And if I start landing my hands, one of the things I promised my dad was, there's no way this guy goes, the last fight, there's no way he goes 2 rounds without me connecting good. So I said, there's no way we go 6 minutes without me connecting one of my rayos.
Yeah.
So one of my lightnings. And it just happened a lot quicker than we thought.
Yeah.
But I was expecting 4 to 5 rounds of him strong coming forward.
Yep.
And then 4th, 5th, 6th, if he lasted that long, I was going to step it up.
Take them into the deep waters and drown them.
But I promised my dad, because he had done a lot of talking on social media, a lot of like mental
You're talking
games.
about your opponent. You're talking about your opponent.
Talking about my last opponent, yeah. He had done a lot of talking online and social media, trying to like hype up the fight and hype himself up mentally.
Yeah.
And try to hype me down to that, oh, he's a regular boxer. What is a guy with 12-0 with 3 knockouts going to do to me? What's he going to do? Run around the ring? So that was some things that I knew from being a veteran in this game at such a young age. I started at 8, 9 years old. I was like, this guy's just trying to throw me off. So I'm letting him talk all he wants. I wasn't looking at none of his podcasts. I was just seeing clips from here and there. And he talked at the weigh-in too. He talked to my dad. He called him, oh my God, he called him the slur of names.
You don't talk to Pops like
man,
that.
Bro. And I
got a funny
was
story
so
after
quiet.
that.
I was so quiet the whole social media. I didn't respond to nothing.
Good.
I just kept taking screenshots for I could remember after.
Yep.
And the first time I talked was at the weigh-in. He like did something like this and told my dad, I'm gonna knock your son out. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
All I did was turn around and tell him, I'm gonna do you worse than your last opponent did. I think he got knocked out in like the 8th of 8.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna do you a lot worse than your last opponent did. Oh yeah, I'm really from Puerto Rico, mother. And I was like, okay, we'll see. And
okay,
obviously
papi.
we saw what happened. Yeah.
Papi.
So we saw what happened. So I don't like the whole talking. So that's one thing we keep out. We stay humble to ourselves. But the first thing I tell Papi is, let's stay on our defense. And if the punch comes, the punch comes. If not, we'll take it to deeper waters.
100%.
Like the punch with Chris Thompson didn't come until the 4th round. Then it didn't come back because I didn't push it. One thing we worked on for our last fight with the knockout was pushing it. Once we get it, apply pressure, but smart pressure, as you were saying.
Yep. Be a shark, baby. Be a shark. You smell that blood?
Exactly.
You go for it. You hurt him, then you do. That's when you do
so
go
that's
for it.
something we practiced for this last fight, and it worked. But with Thompson, we dropped him with the right hand. We dropped him again, but then the next round, when I knew he was hurt, I told Papi, I think he's going to come out strong for the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's see what he brings. And I slowed it down. I already knocked him down twice, so you're winning on the scorecards. Chill. And then he knocked him down again in the 7th round. I was like, I could have taken him out both times, but I didn't apply the pressure. So
that was your first full 8-rounder, though?
That was I think it was my first.
Where you actually went the full 8.
I think it was.
I think it was because you've been 6s before that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's honestly, when you're first coming up to, that's kind of the thing is you kind of want to get a 6-rounder under your belt, an actual go 6, an actual 8, just kind of get comfortable, things like that. So it's not bad. But you just made me think of another question into my mind, or not even like a thought process was. For one, it's pretty cool that your dad trained you. He's trained you since you were an amateur. Yeah. So I had the similar thing. My dad trained me. My dad was in my corner for my first ever amateur fight when I was 8 years old.
That's crazy.
Okay, we're talking 1992. My dad was in my corner.
Facts.
My dad was in my corner for my last professional fight, which was in 2018.
Damn.
Okay? We're talking 92 to 2018. But
that's years, yeah.
It's year. That's my father in my corner the whole time, and I love that. My dad never fought, so he learned on the go as we did. But there was a fight that you just made me think of. It was my biggest win as a pro. But that we're at the weigh-ins, and we'd always had trash talk. That's fine. I expect the trash talk to me.
Yeah.
Love it, expect it. My dad's not a trash talker. He is, but not when it comes to the fight game. He shuts up. He's cool. He knows the game. He's just like, I'm just going to chill. And we're at the weigh-in, and we're just chilling. And this guy got so hyped up, he looked at my dad, my dad's 60 years old. He said, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to knock you. And looked at my dad. No. And I didn't say.
But that turns you on.
I was like, he did the wrong thing. Because I was going in already hyped.
Yeah.
But I was just like, and I didn't say anything, actually. Because I knew my dad looked at me, and I was like, I stared the guy down at the weigh-in. The next day, I was like, I'm going to do the talking, right? They flew this kid in from Las Vegas to fight me in Wichita, Kansas. I was a 10-1 underdog, okay? My girlfriend at the time, wife now, it was her first live fight that she was coming to, okay?
You got pressure.
Lots. And now this guy said he's going to knock my dad out. I'm a man. You don't knock my dad out. Come on, bro. So lots of pressure for sure in my mind, but also motivation too. Pressure is a privilege. Remember that pressure is a privilege. And I felt that pressure, but I was just like, I am in a position to actually show out now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm not going to fold. Like, I'm a fighter. Mind you, I had 11 days of training too, and that was it. So I was a little nervous. And I was in Hawaii doing the training by myself with my wife, wife now, and we were just doing cardio and all that stuff.
Yeah, get the
Mind
air.
you, and that's all. I was like, listen, I know how to fight. I've been a pro for a long
Just get
time.
the air.
I know how to fight. I know my timing, all of that stuff. So 11 days of just straight cardio, man. I'm shadow boxing. I'm hitting the bag. I had no mitt work, no sparring, no nothing, right?
Damn.
And I come in with all this pressure, and I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for not long enough. I'm good. I'm going to be okay. Go out
Had to
there.
have at least gas in the tank, so that's good.
Got dropped. I got dropped in the first round.
Damn.
And I'm like, it was an 8-rounder. I got dropped in the first round of a fight where I'm like, I don't think I got the gas
Body
to
or
go
head?
8 either. Head,
Oh, shit.
which doesn't. So I've never been knocked out, amateur or pro. 170 amateur, 100 or 46 pro. Never been knocked out to the head ever.
That's crazy.
In my entire career. This guy drops me in the first round. I'm like, oh no, but you're a fighter, right? I get on the ground, I get right up. I'm like, it was a flash knockdown. I'm like, I'm not used to doing this. Like, this is a little weird. Get up, knock him down like in the 4th round, knock him out in the 5th round.
Damn.
So the point is, what I want to get into you is all that long story talking about myself, even though this is about you.
Yeah.
But it was my father, and he threatened my father, and I was like,
bro, no.
I'm going to get him. So it reminded me because he threatened your father, and you're like, I'm going to knock you out, bro. And you did. And I'm not really known as a knockout guy either.
I promised my dad.
But I was like, dude, you don't talk to my pops like that. Like, I'm like, get goosebumps thinking about it. I'm like, you don't talk to my pops like that. And the guy told me too, he said, if I don't knock you out, he goes, I'm going to beat you. He goes, but if I don't knock you out, I'll retire. Dude said that.
What's up with this guy?
Dude said that.
That's crazy.
Obviously, eating his words. He didn't fight for 2 years after that, but then he did come back. I should call him out again.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is, how has it been having your father as your trainer from amateurs to pros? I know you have other people to help out a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's you and your pops.
Yeah.
How has that relationship been?
It's been amazing. There's obviously, as you were trained by your father as well, it was never smooth sailing. There's
That's what I want to talk about. 100%. Yes.
There's ups and there's very downs.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
Just like in the amateurs, there was ups and downs where you would win a tournament or you'd win 2 tournaments in a row and you'd lose one fight and you'd get that talk that you got every time of you're gonna have to see what you're gonna do, because if you wanna fight like this, I don't want to train you. I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna do this. So that happened. Out of my 78 fights, I had 11 losses. Every loss of those 11 was that same talk.
Yeah.
So it was like a good 20, 25 minute talk, and he would play it on repeat whenever he wanted to. So it wasn't just you lost and you're gonna hear it one time for you to remember. Nah, it was that, and then he'll be driving and he'll look at me again. And let me tell you again. I was like, oh man, damn. Like, and obviously nobody wants to lose. So I would tell my dad, I was like, "But I don't want to lose. Nobody wants to lose."
Yeah.
Or like, if you have a bad sparring, I don't want to get beat up. Oh yeah, then do better. It's a lot easier than said. So, but there's been ups and downs. There's been very ups, like the last fight that we knocked out. The up when I got cut, that was the down part, was that I got cut. The up was that we passed and we like showed that we could strive under pressure and under that test.
Yep.
But back to what you were saying about the trash talk, right? This was the second time that somebody trash talks me. Nobody really knew about the first one because it was on the Jake Paul undercard, and I was fighting a guy named Chris Rowlands. I want to say I was 5-1. And I was 5-0 and he was 5-2. Or correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say I was 5-0 or 6-0, and he was 5-1. Yeah, I was undefeated.
13-0 as a pro.
Yeah. So the guy's 5-1, so he has a good record, looks good on paper, and they fly him in, and I don't see him until the day of the weigh-in, and we're like behind this. We're in like a private room before we walk on stage, and I'm looking around, seeing where's the opponent. I'm with my dad. And I look and I see him, and he's like fidgety, man. He's like very nervous looking. And I talk to my dad and I go, "Yo, what's wrong with this guy? Like, look at him." I was like, he's gonna do something crazy. Yeah, he's on something. And Papi goes, "Oh, he better stay quiet, right?" And I was like, "All right, cool." So they call him up first, and when they call me up, he's still fidgeting on the screen, like on the stage. And we get to the face-off. And he starts talking to me. And this is the first time that somebody talks to me. He goes, "Oh, yeah? You think you're just going to come over here and knock me out? You think they flew me over here for me to get knocked out? You got another thing coming, mother." And I'm like, "Oh, shit, okay."
All right, here we go.
The only thing I said was, keep talking because I'm going to be doing the talking tomorrow. "Yeah? You think you're just going to knock me out? Oh, you got another thing coming, playboy, this and that." I'm like, I was like, "Keep talking. I'm going to be the one laughing tomorrow, this and that. You do what you got to do. I'm going to see you tomorrow." He's like, "Oh, yeah. Right." So he leaves, right? Papi's like 5 feet behind me, so he doesn't hear anything. He just sees. So he's mad. I turn around. He goes, "What the f did he just say to you?" I was like, "Pop, relax. We're gonna see him tomorrow. Like,
Pops.
we're gonna see him tomorrow." So like, my dad like instantly got off the stage. He wanted to go up to him and talk to. None of that. I'm gonna see him tomorrow. And then we ended up. There was a point in the fight where I normally stay very calm and composed and stuff. There was a moment in the fight where I landed a couple punches and I stepped back and I took a laugh. Yeah, and it just came out, right?
Yeah,
I smirked and I hear his dad. His dad was his coach.
Oh, that's
he goes,
not good.
"Come on, Chris. He's laughing at you." And I heard that and I was like, "Ooh, damn."
Maybe
So that was dad versus dad moment. Then we met up with his dad a couple fights after, and it was really cool. The dad was awesome.
Probably all respect, right? Yeah.
Very respectful. We took pictures with him.
Yeah.
So the family in general was really, really cool.
That's kind of the cool thing about boxing too, is when it's all said and done. For the most part.
For the most part.
When it's all, and that's not every time, but like it's the majority of the time though.
Yeah.
For the most part, the guy did battle with you. You did battle with him.
So it's like
you
a respect thing.
That.
Yeah.
It is. It's like you're gonna be best friends,
sure.
but you're just like, bro, I know what you went through because I went through it too, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going in together. So like that's kind of why boxing is special at the same time. Is definitely you get that respect afterwards. It's like two gladiators, man. You're going to war together. You know what you're doing is just it's not easy. You knew what it took to get there. He's going through the same stuff. So it's definitely tough. So I know that, try to wrap this up a little bit, is I know that it's don't try to look past your opponents, right? I know that, right?
For sure.
And I'm not asking you to do that, but I am asking you to think about what's the future look like after this Friday. You don't have the fight coming up.
Yeah.
What's your future looking like? What's 2024 looking like? I mean, this has been an amazing year for boxing. B-Money says that it's not, but I say it's the Jordan year of professional boxing. There's been some great great pro fights, and it's just delivered for sure. So B-Money ain't happy over here. He'll get me back on the podcast, which you better be tuning in. But what does Jeovanny Estela's 2024 look like? I mean, that division, 147 to 154, is a hot division. It's our man, Terrence Crawford, was on the podcast. He's the king of the 147. He's pound for pound the best right now.
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
So what are you thinking about on that level? Because, listen, you're this close to that level.
That's what I'm
to
feeling.
those
I feel
fights,
like I'm in
right?
that prospect level of going up to that level, to that contender level.
Yep.
So I feel like this 2024 is a perfect year to make it a statement year, and then maybe win a belt, maybe win one of those intercontinental, one of those belts.
Yeah, like a top 15, top 10,
15, top 10 belts to get your name out there even more. I think with that comes fighting in different places as well, and fighting higher opposition. So I think this next year will be a big year. 2024, a lot of statements will be made. So I'm glad to have in my mind what we got to do. Yeah. We just got to apply it. So
do you have have you come to the point yet where you have any names that you're thinking of? Big names, I'm saying.
So we don't ever look at names. That's something me and my father don't do. We don't look for names. We look at who else is there, but we don't look for them. We don't, I want to fight this person, I want to fight that person. No. Whatever is the best for our team, whatever we think is going to be the best for the career, that's what we go with. If this person is going to apply that next step, that's perfect. We'll go with that person. But we don't really look for names, and we don't focus on certain people. We just know they're in the way later. Yeah. If there's
so that's the point. Is that's a great mentality. But at some point, there's world champions out there.
For sure.
So you do got to focus on those people.
For sure.
Is there any of those guys, current champions from 47, 54, let's even talk about 160. Anybody from 47 to 60 that you're like, you know what? I would love to have a crack at them in a year or whatever, coming down the road. Any champions that like you're like, you know what? I think I can take them.
So I don't think of any name in particular, but I know when it's that time, and when it's that time for me to go for that belt, I'll be ready for whoever has the belt at that time. That's who I would want to take a shot at. I wouldn't want to take a shot at a former champion going down if it's not going to get me to the spot for the champion spot. So obviously to get to that champion spot, you have to fight a couple former champions or get those name brand fights that are going to lead you into that contender fight or that mandatory fight type thing. So when the time comes, it would be that person, whoever has the belt at that time. Because I could say this person, and that person won't have the belt in a year or in 2 years when it happens.
I think Gio is a veteran already in interviews because that was a brilliantly dodged question because he talked around it really good though. But you talked around it in such a great way that I can't even press that. Like, listen, Mama Estela, I love, by the way.
Yeah, she'd
but
be proud.
I think that you answered that question very good, and I doubled down on it. I tried to like get you to say
You did
a name,
double down.
and I was
But
trying.
I tripled down.
But you know what? I like it though. I'm not even gonna try a third time because I liked it so much that I thought that you did very well with that. But eventually, when you come back on this podcast,
I'll have a name for you. Most
I'm
likely.
gonna need some names from you. I'm gonna need some inside info because listen, Terrence Crawford gave me, of all these people in the world who he does interviews with, he gave me inside info on the podcast. So I feel like we're a little
probably
closer.
A perk from you fighting him.
I feel like we're closer.
Yeah,
because I see you more, right? So I feel like I'm gonna need some of that for the podcast.
When I start calling out a name, you'll be the first.
I want this to
You'll be
happen.
the first, yeah.
Listen, you guys heard this here. I'm weighing in with Travis Hartman. Giovanny Estela is telling me, listen, DAZN, Matchroom, I'm first, all right? Listen, he already said it.
I don't call out names,
holds up.
but if I call out a name, I'll tell Travis
I
first.
appreciate that. We got it on record right now. So, listen, Giovanny, I really do appreciate it. Everybody that comes on the show, I appreciate them coming on the show because they take time out of their days, even if it's whether it's Zoom or in person. I appreciate that more than anything because I know that there's a lot that goes into this boxing. There's a lot that goes into, I mean, this is fight week for you. So I really appreciate the fact
it's a tough opponent too.
You're fighting on Friday and you're fighting. I mean, listen, all of them are tough from this point on. You're 13-0. Every single opponent, no matter what, they're going to be tough opponents. So it's no matter what their record is, no matter what they're thinking.
Yeah.
You're 13-0. You have all the pressure. They're coming in to knock off this pretty boy, playboy, Jeovanny Estela, undefeated, fighting in his hometown, right? Like, there's a lot of pressure, but pressure is a privilege, and I think so far you've taken that, and you know that you're humble, and it's definitely you love that pressure because you're performing in front of your hometown, in front of your family, in front of Mama Estela, Papa Estela, which is good. But what I want everybody to know is, listen, the fights are Friday. They're on DAZN.
Yes.
Come out, check out Jeovanny Estela, undefeated, 13-0. And I think that our year-end things, we always do like a prospect of the year. We always do some of those big-time scenes. And Xander Zayas, by the way, I've told B Money this for a little bit. I said, over Edgar Berlanga, and I like Berlanga.
Yeah.
I think he's a good guy. I do.
Yeah.
But I've always told people from last year, I said, they're like, oh, Berlanga's the next Puerto Rican. I was like, listen, I like him. He's not. I go, it's Xander Zayas. He's the next Puerto Rican,
too,
skill-wise, and I see his fighting style, and I like it. And I think that I love where you're going with yours is you don't have to have those knockouts to go far, right? Berlanga was knocking everybody out, and I was like, you got to be able to fight because
you get those rounds in too.
How many big-time world title fights at welterweight are knockouts? Not very many.
Yeah.
Think about it. Floyd Mayweather, even Canelo, at the top level, the champions fighting champions, they usually go 12 rounds. So you need to have that boxing ability.
Yeah.
That ability is first and foremost, period.
It's going to take you far.
100%. So I think that Friday, hopefully everybody knows that tickets are at Ticketmaster.
Yes.
Weigh-ins are on Thursday at Crib Royale. Box Lab promoted on DAZN as well.
Yes.
So come out, support a local guy like Jeovanny Estela. Giovanni, one last thing. What do you want to tell all of your fans here? Not just in Central Florida. Let's go. You've been on DAZN now a couple of times. You've been on some TV fights. You've been on a Jake Paul undercard.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell your fans across the world? Because we got listeners now from Brazil, from everywhere. Tell the camera, tell the fighters, tell your fans, what do you want them to see from you on Friday?
So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting, whether by tuning into the lives, watching in person, or even supporting through Instagram or social media. Thank you for everything. Without you guys, there is no Rayo, there is no Lightning. You guys are what pushed me to keep training hard for those wins and keep dominating in the best way I can. And this Friday coming up is 13-0 versus an 11-2 with 11 knockout wins. So this is a very dangerous fight, a very exciting fight for the fans, and I think everybody wins this Friday. I will be coming out victorious, God willing. We've been doing everything that we have to do in the camp for that to be the outcome. But thank you, and everybody tune in. It's going to be live stream on DAZN, and everybody tune in or follow me on social media. And if you're not following the podcast, what are you doing?
Thank you.
What's going on? What's
Weighing
going
in
on?
with Travis Hartman. Let's go. Listen, Giovanny, thank you again. We'll wrap this up. We usually do a 30-second thing at the end, but we've already done it with you. We don't need to do it again. So thank you again. Guys, come out Friday. We're going to be there. We always support ringside table VIP for Jeovanny Estela. It's worth it. I'm a huge boxing fan.
Fire.
We're a huge boxing podcast, but we actually put our money where our mouths are because we go.
Always.
We do support. We've been there. We've been to almost all of your fights at Crib Royale. If you fight at Crib Royale, we've been there. So it's been a majority of them for sure. But come out Friday. Box Lab promoted. DAZN's showing the fights. WBA KO for drugs. They're having a big convention right after that leading up to the Jake Paul fight. But you know what? It's about Jeovanny. It ain't about Jake Paul. Jeovanny Estela, 13-0, hot prospect from Orlando, trains in Orlando, from right here. Let's go. God bless. Thank you, guys.